So Candida is something that, I see pretty much everybody in my clinic suffering from. Even if they're not coming in with gut issues, we discover it on a stool test, or we have a quiz that my team can put below for you guys, where you can take a quiz, a free quiz, and see if maybe you have Candida. So let's go over what is Candida. So, Candida is a yeast, and actually you can have a different form of yeast. It doesn't need to be, actually Candida. So Candida is the most common form of yeast. And so I use it interchangeably with just overgrowth, yeast overgrowth. So I do stool tests on a lot of people, and many of them do have Candida, but a lot of them have actually different types of yeast. So, if we're talking about yeast overgrowth, I'm referring to it as Candida, but you could actually have a different type. So we have a little bit, or most of us are supposed to have a little bit of it that lives naturally in our gut and our GI tract, and it really helps us break down our nutrients. It helps us with absorption. And, I like to think of the gut as a microbiome, or as a rainforest. Our microbiome is a rainforest because, we have good bacteria. We may have some bad bacteria. We might have a little bit of yeast. We may even have some viruses or parasites in there as well. And everything's really sitting in there in this ecosystem in balance in an ideal world. So when we have something that disrupts this natural balance, then things that are not really supposed to be there, or only supposed to be there in very small amounts, get out of check. So if we have a round of antibiotics, if we're, overindulging in sugars or alcohols, if we're really stressed out, that can disrupt that balance and then lead to imbalances or overgrowths of whether it's bad bacteria like a SIBO, or good bacteria, I guess could be SIBO, or yeast for Candida. So how does this get out of control? I've already mentioned a few things, which is, sugary food. So I have a kind of a 1, 2, 3 punch when it comes to beating Candida. And one of the first parts is to, eliminate certain foods or to starve the yeast. So getting out the sugary foods. Well, over the holidays, and it's that, what I want to say, that spiral that can happen, that is the holidays, you're stressed, so you're craving more sugar. Maybe you already have Candida and it's causing you to crave even more sugar, or maybe you have to go on a round of antibiotics and then you feel bad about that, or you don't feel like eating, and so you're eating more simple carbs and stuff like that. So our diet really is one of the biggest ways that our gut microflora can get out of balance. In fact, there's some studies showing that just, changing your diet, that the microbiome within 24 to 48 hours already changed for the better. So that's good, that if you're, eating a bunch of junk and you stop eating it, that your microbiome can change for the better. Or of course, for the worse, if you're eating a really good diet and then you overindulge in things, just, a little bit on Christmas or Christmas Eve and Christmas can, potentially lead to having some overgrowth. So, eating too much sugar, eating refined carbs, cakes, sugar, cookies, holiday treats, that can feed, bacteria, bad bacteria, and yeast. And then that crowds out all the good bacteria, and then you lead to an overgrowth. Sugar in and of itself is also just a really inflammatory food. There's some studies showing that when we eat a lot of sugar, it can suppress the immune system. It increases advanced glycosylation, and also it can show spikes in our CRP, which is our inflammatory marker, or an inflammatory marker. Also, there's some studies, like I said, suppressing the immune system with sugar as well. And then, of course, sugar is going to be leading to things like yeast, Candida, SIBO, that can then, of course, cause leaky gut. Antibiotics, again, we've already mentioned that, a lot of people are getting sick this time of year. A lot of times it is the flu or it is a virus. Occasionally it can turn into a bacterial infection. So you'd want to talk with your doctor about whether you want to go on antibiotics or need to go on antibiotics. Antibiotics, of course, can be life-saving, so you never want to do without if that's the case for you. You would want to take antibiotics. But a lot of times these upper respiratory illnesses are not bacterial and they are viral. So you just really want to take the best care of yourself as you can. Try to avoid getting this. If you're like me with a 2-year-old in the house, that can often be difficult. And so really, only taking antibiotics if they're absolutely necessary, because just one round of antibiotics can really completely disrupt your microbiome and, can lead to Candida overgrowth. SIBO can lead to something called C. diff, a lot of different things that can happen if you're taking those antibiotics. And then, of course, stress. So we've already talked about stress and how it's a stressful time of year, whether you're racing around, trying to find the perfect gift for somebody to, again, it's a lonely time of year for some people. Some people it's stressful because they got too much family. They're traveling places to see their family. So it just can be a time of great stress for people. And stress has been shown to alter your gut bacteria. So when you are stressed, it can suppress the immune system as well, but also literally alter your microbiome. So it can increase your gut permeability. It can lead to a decrease in gut motility. And then it can impact your immune system. So many of us know about, as I wrote in the autoimmune solution, suppressing your immune system 40 to 70% baseline after you've ended with a chronic stressor. So all of this really leads to the perfect environment for Candida overgrowth. So now many of you might be thinking about Candida just in the gut, and Candida being a very, isolated situation. Sometimes you can get Candida in your vaginal area. You might get a fungal infection on your nails, or men get jock itch, or Elle got, a really terrible Candida infection in her diaper area about 2 months ago now. It was the first time she really had anything, and it was full force. And it actually started right after a GI illness, which is quite interesting. And it was so bad, it was very clear to me it seemed systemic. But of course, I didn't want to treat my own child, so I took her to her pediatrician, who's very open-minded. And after doing the topicals for about a week and having some impact, but not a lot, she agreed, and we ended up putting Elle on on an antifungal, and it cleared right up. So sometimes even when we see these seemingly outward manifestations of Candida, like a skin rash or a jock itch or a nail fungus or something like that, we think that it's just, or vaginal yeast infection, that it's just very isolated there. And sometimes it is. But for a lot of people, that's just the outward manifestation of something really much deeper in the body, and it is more systemic. Now, I'm not talking about systemic candidiasis in the sense that there is a true medical condition where you get Candida overgrowth in your blood, and that is life-threatening. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about where it's in your gut, and it disrupts the gut balance to the point that it really begins to open up those tight junctions and virtually spread throughout the body. Now, that is can lead to a whole host of other symptoms. So of course, it can lead to leaky gut by having these, the thought is that the Candida really just lays this layer over the gut, which one can affect your ability to make your neurotransmitters like serotonin. So I see a lot of people with mood-mind issues that have Candida, a lot of people with depression. And when we treat the Candida, that layer goes away, and then they're able to make their serotonin. So nearly 95% of our serotonin is actually made in our gut. So when this layer of Candida is there, your body is not able to produce that amount of serotonin. But anyway, I'm digressing that, we have our gut sits together with the tight junctions, we digest and absorb through our villi. And, as we have anything that's continuing to compound this or to hit those receptors that then cause a release of zonulin, these tight junctions break apart. And then of course, Candida can slip through and carry throughout the rest of the body. And so can some of the byproducts of Candida. So Candida actually gives off as it's in a certain state, and also when it's dying, it can give off, it makes acetaldehyde, which is actually one of the byproducts of alcohol. When you're drinking a glass of wine, your body, your liver breaks it down into acetaldehyde, and acetaldehyde then continues to break it down and it flushes it from your system. Well, acetaldehyde can be toxic to the brain, can be irritating to the gut, can be irritating to the brain. So that's why a lot of people with Candida, one, when you're killing it, can have a lot of die-off symptoms, but also why many people with Candida actually don't have gut issues. They have brain fog, they have memory, they have difficulty concentrating, they have ADD, they have ADHD, they have anxiety, they have depression, they have mood swings. irritability. So I see that huge, that a lot of these what I want to say, mood mind issues that I see a lot of people having are actually, for some people, Candida. So many people are thinking, oh, like, I don't have Candida because I don't have any gut issues. It can cause bloating, constipation, diarrhea in people. But there's so many people who actually don't have gut issues at all that I see. Skin infections, itching, itchy ears, itchy genital area. Those two are what are called pathognomonic, that when I hear itchy ears or itchy genital area, I definitely think about Candida. Itchy skin in general, rashes that, come and go, rashes that are there, your doctor doesn't know what it is. Even if it itself is not a fungal infection, I just see a lot of rashes that when you treat Candida, they clear too. Again, the skin is a clearinghouse. So if you're having acne, you're having rashes, these things are all external manifestations of something deeper going on. So the rash in and of itself doesn't need to be a fungal rash. It could be a histamine rash from, having an allergic reaction to the Candida NU. It could be, just an inflammatory rash because you have inflammation going on inside of you. So, or that you're reacting. I see people have true immune reactions. You can check this in a lab. You can do a Candida IgG, IgA, and IgM level. You always would want to do a total IgG, IgA, IgM, which are your immune system. So I see people reacting to Candida, and that's done through a regular lab test. Your regular doctor can do that. Whether they'll do it for you or not, I don't know, but they will. That is available through them. So seasonal allergies, reactions to mold, and then chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. So when we have gut and, intestinal permeability, we're not digesting and absorbing our food properly, that can lead to vitamin deficiencies, and that can then lead to chronic fatigue. Fibromyalgia, people can have joint pain and pain from the inflammation of the Candida. They, again, can be having an immune reaction to the Candida. And then, of course, having a leaky gut can predispose you to autoimmunity. So there are a lot of different things that Candida can lead to a whole body problem, and most of them are not gut issues. So you really need to look at the big picture. And again, my team has a quiz that you guys can take to, you can do some, advanced testing for Candida. One, what I just told you in the blood test. You can have Candida, you can have an immune reaction to Candida, you can have a gut infection with Candida, so that would be a stool test, or you could have a small bowel infection, not SIBO, but actually have Candida in your small bowel or fungus in your small bowel. And so that would be a different test or a urine test to look at the byproducts of your small intestines. So those are the three ways, and I have some articles on this and my team can post that as well. But those are the three ways I test for Candida. But when you can't get those tests or you don't have a doctor willing to do it, there's a quiz, both in the Autoimmune Solution, the Thyroid Connection, and my team can post it below, a free quiz that we offer that you can, see if you too think that you have Candida. Looks like I have a couple of testimonials here. This is a great complete program for anybody ready to take on getting rid of their issues from yeast. From the recipes to the supplements to the online community, you'll have all that you need to make the changes to improve your health. Jules. Her program has literally changed my life. Not only are my symptoms of yeast overgrowth gone, but I don't struggle with allergies since doing the program. And everyone around me seems to be sick, and I'm not. Thank you for using natural earth and elements to heal our bodies and help us perform our best as physical human selves. Natalie. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps reading all these. The Candida program was absolutely amazing. I've not felt this much energy in years. I plan to continue following the Myers way, healthy eating, even after the program is over. From Yvette. So, all right, everybody. So if you'd like to take back your health in your life, if you've been struggling with brain fog, ADHD, mood swings, mind issues, memory issues, gas, bloating, diarrhea, food sensitivities, allergies, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, nail fungus, jock itch, repeated, vaginal yeast infections, any of these things, likelihood is that you may have Candida. Again, you can take the quiz. Come join us and you get everything that you need to take back your life. All of the supplements, they come in this handy dandy little kit. So you'll get all of your supplements. You'll get a guide to the supplements. You'll get all of the recipes that you need that are quick and easy. I mean, we really took in mind the fact that People are, it's going to be after the holidays. People don't want to be spending hours in the kitchen. So we tell you exactly what to do in the program. So